నీకు గుర్తుపట్టలేదు.
అది వస్తలేదు.
అదే అనుకుంటా
ఓ బాబు
అని చేయాలన్నా. ఓ రికార్డ్ అవుతుందా?
అది టీమ్ అవుతుంది టీమ్ అవుతుంది ఆన్ చేసిన స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు start the call because all of the camera is not connected to the internet.
ఏంటి
వినపడుతుందా? Friends, I welcome you all to this meeting. I thank Mr. Venu, the founder editor of Wire, for accepting our invitation and coming here all the way from Delhi to speak to us. And I also thank our friend Som Shekhar, the retired resident editor of Hindu Business Line, for accepting to preside this meeting. I welcome Mr. Venu onto the dais and also Mr. Som Shekhar to the dais. And I also request Mr. Virahat Ali, the President of Telangana Union of Working Journalists, onto the dais. And I welcome the General Secretary of Telangana Union of Working Journalists, Mr. Ram Narayan, also onto the dais. Before I hand over the mic to the President of the day, I would like to say a few words on behalf of the Telangana Union of Working Journalists and also on behalf of Media Education Foundation India. See, Media Education Foundation India is an organization formed by the Andhra Pradesh Union of Working Journalists when the state was united before division of the state. We have formed this in 2013. This organization was formed basically to train the journalists, particularly working in the mofussil areas. Actually, there is a media academy in both Telugu states, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, which has to actually impart training for journalists, particularly working in mofussil areas. This was formed in 1996. It's an autonomous body. But later, the union thought it should start an organization to train journalists on its own also, leave alone the press academies. So that is why we have started this. I am the managing trustee of Media Education Foundation India, and Comrade K. Srinivas Reddy, who is the president of Indian Journalists Union, is the chairman of the Media Education Foundation India. And Telangana Union of Working Journalists is a 70-year-old body. Before bifurcation of state in the United Andhra Pradesh, it was Andhra Pradesh Union of Working Journalists. Now it is Telangana Union of Working Journalists. This month, from 27th to 29th, we are having our national plenary of Indian Journalists Union in Vijayawada. Indian Journalists Union is an organization formed in 1990. It's a premier organization of working journalists in the country. And it's going to hold its plenary in Vijayawada this month. On the eve of this plenary, we are conducting seminars in different states on subjects related to the media. So in Hyderabad, Telangana Union of Working Journalists along with Media Education Foundation India thought we will have a seminar and we will invite a personality. So Mr. Venu accepted to speak with us on the subject, you know, the social media impact, positive and negative. We will hear him. I request Mr. Somshekhar to preside and conduct the meeting. Thank you very much. Yeah. First, the Telangana Union of Working Journalists want to honor our guest with a bouquet. Thank you. Som, you can. Please. Thank you. Som, you can.
Very good morning to all of you. Special welcome to my friend M.K. Venu from Delhi, the founder editor of The Wire. I thank Develapalli Amar, Virahal, and all the office bearers of the Telangana Union of Working Journalists, and also the Media Education Foundation for giving me an opportunity to preside over this function today. You know, I would recall the first time I met Venu was back in '92 in Hyderabad. Very interestingly, we had an All India cricket tournament, All India Inter-Press Club cricket tournament, and Venu was a batter, opener from Delhi, and we had a very good cricket tournament. In that tournament, M.L. Jaisimha, who would usually be very friendly with all journalists here, he said, I will give commentary for 30 minutes. Because most often sport journalists, we comment about cricketers and criticize them, say that they should have batted well, they should have left the ball, all kinds of comments we make without playing much. So he said, I would like to get back at you, and he did half an hour of commentary. That was an amazing experience for all of us. And I'm sure for Venu, all that cricket is coming of good use to ward off the bouncers from the government, and also the bodyline attack that the Wire faces from the government for all the investigative stories that they do, all the information that they bring to public about the government, asking questions and always telling us what the government should do, what is wrong. That has landed them in lot of trouble, and I'm sure Venu will delve on how they have managed, to fight and, stay fit, as they call. I would, then raise a few issues for all of us to ponder over and, set the tone for discussion this morning. If you look at the media, some of us, and I think many in the audience also, we all started as print journalists in the newspaper. And somehow we thought we were doing a great thing, pura boj of the society we were carrying. మేము చాలా గొప్ప ప్రొఫెషన్లో ఉన్నాము, and we really enjoyed some sort of a goodwill from society and all that. So we did a good job. Then came television, which brought information and news to our own living room. That was first phase where information really came to us 24/7, and the way news is absorbed was also changed. Till then, a photograph was considered to be 1,000 words. I think any photographer here will say that whenever he took a photograph, it was displayed in the newspaper, it was worth 1,000 words. But the TV camera brought a whole new dimension to it. So if in this audience, if you want to show that it is very well attended, you show only the first few rows and say it is well attended. If you show the last place, all the seats are empty. So the 1,000 words became, what you show to the public. So that is a change that television, video and all brought in. Now the third phase came with Google in 1998, and that really opened the floodgates of media, news, information, data and all that. And it gave rise to what we call online media, news portals and so on. And many people started their own communication through email and became, in our own media jargon, as citizen journalists. And we also took advantage, people, media people in the newspapers and television took advantage of citizen journalism because we were getting information easily. And newspapers could not reach the entire country through a network of journalists. Now come 2000, everything became different. It was a dramatic change with social media, taking over our lives. You have Facebook, you have, WhatsApp, you have LinkedIn, and all these really made, the whole media scene, completely different. And everyone, you get up in the morning, you open your email and start communicating with the world. That was 2010-11 when email was, popular. And by 2020, with YouTube and, everybody virtually having his own, handle. You have Twitter, you have Facebook, you have, YouTube and all that. Today, there are so many people who are so addicted to social media that, they put their telephone either in the pocket or when they are sleeping near the head. Some people, I am told, get up in the night and, start checking. So that is a kind of addiction that social media has brought in. And what it has done to journalism is what I think Venu will talk about. But the whole gamut of information consumption, news consumption, everything has gone through a dramatic change. Now, is it good? Is it bad? That is what the topic of today's discussion will be. And in my opinion, there are good things that happen to even mainline journalists. Today, at the as soon as you open, what is happening in the world. As soon as you want to do a story, information is available. Then the other problem is social media has no filters. Social media has, its own reach. And for most of us, who get up in the morning, read the Hindu newspaper in South India with a coffee, today it is completely changed. There's no coffee, nothing. You get up in the morning with the phone, you look at your email, you look at your Facebook and all that and consume information. But for working journalists, it is become double-edged. Now you can use social media as an additional input, or what is happening in majority of the cases is social media is driving your story throughout the day. Now as soon as you get up, you are following something. You are no longer driving news. So social media has taken over our role of creating good stories, creating analysis, or going to places and unearthing stories. All that has been taken over by social media. The flip side is the impact of positive impact of social media has been harnessed by political leaders, corporates, even some of our journalists, YouTubers and all, Ravish Kumar to Raj Shamana, who's having millions of followers, and they have a wide reach. Today some of the YouTubers have more reach than mainstream media also. So the ability to reach more people has also been one of the good fallouts of social media. But on the flip side, as I said, social media is also used by political parties, corporates, and people who want to have their own agenda, set their own agenda, utilize it for their own gain. And we have seen how BJP has been able to use, Twitter, use Facebook to reach every voter virtually in every corner of the country. And they have harnessed that to their advantage. Similarly, if you look at the Iran war now, hoisted by US and Israel, now Trump does not bother about the Congress, Senate, MP, nobody. He just has his truth, whatever truth he projects. He gets up in the morning, puts it on the X handle of it. That is the way the whole world is driven. Similarly, Narendra Modi has his own Man Ki Baat to his own handle. Anand Mahindra has his own corporate handle, news. So much is happening in social media that we are sometimes overwhelmed. And the last point is, the worst thing that the social media has unleashed is the addiction or the problem of creating a sort of perception to whatever you want. Today, as television used to create a perception, as I told you, you put the camera and create a different perception of what is happening here. Similarly, social media also can create that perception of whatever is happening. And the governments, whenever they want, they are trying to, use legal power to government machinery to control social media influencers and journalists. So very recently there was a story of how the government removed the handles of nearly 40-50 influencers without any reason, and then you have to go and fight and then get it back. So even in my own case, when I retweeted a story, a tweet by one of the influencers about the government, for one day my Twitter handle was deactivated. And it said that your retweet is going against the community standards. So friends, social media is a great leveler. Today we are not going after the masthead of a newspaper. A news Hindu mein chapa hai, a news Wire mein chapa hai, and all that. It's come in social media, you are commenting, you are writing, you are using, and you go ahead. So there is no filter, there is no regulation, there is no control, or there is no freedom which can be freedom, unrestrained freedom you have. So it poses a great challenge to all of us to see how this entire communication, news and social media can be brought in such a way that it helps the reader, it helps the public, and also we don't give in to the governments to control us. People like Venu, Wire, and many publications have been fighting to ensure that we have, our freedom to, write, comment, and do what we want. And social media also needs, enough freedom. And, what to do with social media, how to manage it, how to make it more, organized. These are all big issues in front of us. I'm sure he will delve on it. And after that, we'll have a good session of questions where, please ask whatever you want so that, we'll try to engage in a good conversation and, come up with some ideas at the end of the session. With this, I request Venu to present his version of what he thinks on the subject, and we'll carry on afterward. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you.
Brother,
Thank you for inviting me to speak here.
Sino, Jaru.
I'm very delighted that a working journalists union is still alive in Telangana. It's all dead in Delhi. So I think the states are still, at least the southern states, still have organized, much more. Kerala, I've noticed Kerala, Karnataka.
brother, Jargo.
So, I'll. Som has laid out the broad frame before you on what social media, how it has changed our lives generally. So, I would speak about how social media has impacted journalism. That is my, as per the topic, that is my mandate, limited scope. And I'll speak about it partly through Wired's experience, etc. And then I'll speak for a little while, maybe 20-25 minutes. Then we can have a interaction.
Babu.
A more kind of robust question answer session we can have, where everybody can contribute. Amar can, so they're all legacy journalists. We are in the same boat. I'm also a legacy journalist. When we started the Wire in 2015, three of us partners, Siddharth Varadarajan, me, and Siddharth Bhatia, who's based in Bombay, between us we had some 95 years in legacy journalism, print journalism. So and we were we had very little idea of what we were getting into. There was no multimedia journalism really at that time, because when we started the Wire, it was just a website, it was just text. And sometime in 2016, 2017, somebody advised us that you should start video. If you call it multimedia, then on the internet platform you should have text, you should have video. And it was early stage at that time when videos had not yet challenged the legacy television news space. Today, I'll lay out the development since then. How television space, as we know it, has been overtaken by has been completely overtaken by YouTubers, as Som just told you. I'll give you some examples of that, how it has happened. And for us in the Wire, our mindset was very print at that time when we started. It took us. It was a bit of a struggle to actually adjust to multimedia, and as Som said, use of Twitter. We all use Twitter in the Wire. Everybody is like an all-rounder in cricket. Everybody writes. Everybody comes on video. We all do videos. We promote our stories on Twitter. We promote it on Instagram. We promote it on Facebook. So at any given time, we are just moving. We are doing multiple things on the social media. And for journalism, social media has been a boon. I'll tell you why. Because legacy media, as Amar, Som, and Virat would also testify, legacy media used to operate on a very, I would say, in most cases, in many cities, state capitals, they were monopolies, or maybe duopolies. In a city, there would be 2 newspapers, and they would control the distribution. See, what is the aim of any media company, news media company, is to reach out to its consumers, readers, right, and to influence the readers. Now, those days in print media, distribution was a monopoly. In Delhi, you could not, a third newspaper could not start besides Times of India and Hindustan Times. The Hindu had really struggled, in the initial phase, because the distribution, the guy who throws the newspaper in the house, there was a monopoly over there. In fact, there was such a monopoly that if a third newspaper tried to distribute, they would be physically pushed out. There was I don't want to say it, but there used to be a mafia. There used to be a distribution mafia, newspaper distribution mafia. So I'm telling you, from that point, what social media has done is, it has acted as a open global distribution channel for all of us. So I'm now listing the advantages of social media. I'll come to the negatives. So sitting in a place, we can write a story, upload it, and within seconds it goes global. And we get response within half an hour, within 5 minutes, 10 minutes it can be from Washington, can be from anywhere. And we can put out a video. Karan Thapar does a video. He's our main, like big brand interviewer, So he interviews somebody, he interviews a Pakistani, journalist, and within an hour we get a response from the government, either in the form of a threat or a case or whatever. We do a story against Adani or some big Anil Ambani newspaper group. The response is immediate. So this has been our experience, the Wire's experience, and even the government. Som said that we've been taking bouncers, bodyline, bowling from the government. I would like to say that even we have been giving bouncers, they've also been, it has been working both ways. Of course, the state is all powerful. The state can, as political scientists say, state has a monopoly over violence. So state can do anything to you. They can take you to court. They can file cases against you. There's been sedition cases against Siddharth Rajan, my co-founder, filed by the UP Chief Minister. There have been cases against me personally, filed by industrialists. Anil Ambani filed a 5,000 crore case against damages civil against some wire analysis done by me. So I tell people when I talk to them that this is our valuation, 5,000 crore defamation. yeah, that $1 billion. Yeah. So the point I'm making is social media has made the whole process of messaging very fast, instant. It goes out immediately, and it is in some ways, I wouldn't exaggerate if I argue that journalists today are completely surrounded by technology. The famous media theorist Marshall McLuhan, who died in the early 80s, in the late 60s, he wrote a book where he talked about the famous phrase, medium is the message. So the medium itself is so today these platforms, these technology tools that we use, Marshall McLuhan at that time, when even color television hadn't come, he said that a time will come when technology will surround you in a way that it will become an extension of your central nervous system. So you will create tools, and then the tool will start leading you, and they'll start sort of guiding you. And today that's what is happening. In many ways, he said this in the late 60s, early 70s, that technology will start in some ways guiding you and making you do things. And ChatGPT is a very very fascinating example of that. How and also I'll share my experience as a journalist. I'm sure Som or Amar would also testify to that. As legacy journalists, we used to write in a certain way. We use the language in a certain way. But once you start using social media, once you start writing messages on Twitter, your writing style changes. Without your knowing, you unconsciously you start, writing in a certain way, which is different from how we wrote. There's no luxury of very long sentences, flowery language, adjectives, all gone. There is a way of, there's form and there's content. Even the form, journalists have to adapt themselves to, new forms of communicating. So it's all in all, it's been a fascinating experience. And one great thing that social media has done is, as a distribution platform, as I said, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, they're all distribution platforms. And most people today, I consume my news, for instance, early morning. I'm not as bad as Som was saying, midnight. You get up, and sometimes during the Iran war, I've gotten up at midnight to see what was going on, So the point that I would like to make is that we have a situation where the space has got democratized. The internet has democratized the media space in such a way that as I said earlier when I started, the old monopolies are now gone. I mean, legacy media and newspapers in the last 20 years are just sitting and they are just formulating their obituaries, if you ask me. Whether it's Times of India, I know how much, early 2000 I used to work in the Economic Times, and at that time they used to value their brand before social media came. They used to value their brand at something like $10 billion or $12 billion, thereabouts. And today, I don't think anybody would even pay $1 billion to Times of India. 90% fall in there, all because of social media. And in the so I was talking about democratization of the space. So I'll give you one example of democratization. NDTV. I was speaking to Ravish. I'm giving you Ravish's example because Som mentioned Ravish. Ravish left NDTV just before Adani took over that channel, and it had viewers who were committed to Ravish's program, 9 o'clock program. Ravish leaves, starts his own YouTube channel, and within, believe me, and I discussed this with Ravish those days, within a month, about 6, 7, 8 million subscribers just shifted from NDTV and just went to. So that is the power of democratization. An individual who leaves a big brand, earlier they used to say that big brands are immortal. Times of India is immortal. NDTV was like the Times of India of television, immortal. But now social media has made them mortal. Ravish gets more viewership, prime time, multiple times more than NDTV or any other 9 o'clock anchor. So that is the power of social media. And Ravi started this with nothing, no capital. All he did was he had a Apple computer and he created a daily programming, paraphernalia, had some 1 or 2 researchers and producer. That's it. He sits at home and he every day he does his days commentary, news analysis, etc. So this is the power of social media. And I'll give you another example. 2024 election, Mahua Moitra, the Member of Parliament, TMC, after the elections, she and many other MPs publicly, they said that the BJP's performance was, particularly in UP, BJP went down in UP largely because social media channels run by individuals, they had a massive influence, which included people like Dhruv Rathi. At that time, was getting 20 million views per video. Ravish and many others in the Hindi space, right? So UP consumes Hindi. So the point I'm making is that Mahua Moitra said in Parliament also that for the first time her experience was how the regular legacy TV channels, news channels, they were just left with BJP loyalist viewers. All others are shifted to social media, and the impact was seen in the voting and in the results. So that's another example of how social media impacted that one election where BJP was brought down to 240 seats. In my view, it would have come down even further if they had not, by virtue of being in power, had managed some certain results in some states. Parakala. So Parakala Prabhakar has given an analysis of Andhra Pradesh. Please read that piece. Wire carried it. How vote percentages recorded at 12 o'clock midnight by Election Commission, and on the day of counting, gap of 7-8%. Imagine, at 12 o'clock midnight, Election Commission publishes a number, and the same Election Commission publishes a number on the day of counting, 4 days later. There's a difference of, say, 8 percentage points. How does that happen? The same thing happened, identical thing happened in Odisha. Odisha, by the way, BJD, I don't know whether you people are aware, BJD got 0.4 percentage point votes more than BJP. And they didn't get a single Lok Sabha seat. I have not come across in my life and experienced it. Higher vote share, not a single seat. Everything goes to BJP. So this was unprecedented. Anyway, so Parkala is also using the social media to get his message across, right? Because he comes on the wire, then he comes on video. I also had done many conversations with him on so this is the power of social media, how it is challenging old monopolies. It is democratizing the media space. Any individual that has something to say, he or she has the power to communicate and readily access. Distribution is free, so it's something that it's changing the way the world is viewing things, global affairs, responding to things. Even the Iran war, believe me, if you just look back, go to the newspapers during the Iraq US invasion of Iraq in 2003 and US invasion of Iran now, it'll be a good exercise if you just see how messaging happened then and how messaging is happening now. At that time there were televisions, but there was no social media platforms giving you minute by minute updates on what's going on. So at that time, the television channels were, in times of war, television channels, they become very nationalistic. So the Americans will give their version, the others will give their version, and things don't, the real situation doesn't sort of come out. So Iran-Iraq war was somewhat like that. We didn't know much about what was going on much after, the outcomes, etc. Right? After the regime was overthrown, Saddam was captured, and then we got to know. But you see the war now. Everybody is the newspapers. We're not getting a lot of information from the CNNs or even BBCs. Little bit from Al Jazeera, even there not much. But it is the people, citizen journalism, people who are sending, through Twitter, telling us what's going on. A journalist who was stuck in Tel Aviv, and then was later, I think the Indian government rescued him and he came to Lucknow. He was from UP. He was the first guy who actually, through social media, Twitter and through Instagram, revealed to the world that he was also in a bunker which was like 50 meters below, and he said that people were dying in the bunkers. The Iranian missiles were hitting the bunkers, and Israeli government has been censoring everything. In fact, Israeli government has come up with a law, of punishing with imprisonment whoever, if somebody brings out information of really what's going on. So I as a media person, 42 years experience, I'm also not watching television channels much or getting information from newspapers, because I know there is not much there. I'm also going to handles which are reliable. So as a journalist, I know you have to use filters, as Som was saying. The one negative of social media is there are no filters. So as journalists, we have to apply our own filters. Sometimes it's difficult because you can also see a fake video, fake news. But there are people like handles like alt news, which specialize in detecting fake messages, fake news, fake filters, fake videos. So you can go to those handles also to figure out what's going on. But still, there are a lot of handles, Twitter handles, which I regard as reliable. Like former army security guys, American security guys, or some reliable, verified handles. You can figure out, a serious analyst from a frivolous one on even on social media if you are intelligent enough. So for a journalist, it's important to use those filters. At the level of, common ordinary citizens, they may get misled, but there is propaganda both ways. So that's a bit of a leveler. So both sides are, flooding the space, media space with propaganda. So then at least the viewer or the reader is getting both sides and has his or her own intelligence or intuition to figure out that the truth might lie somewhere in the middle, right? You don't have to believe extreme interpretations that come via social media. So in that sense, I'll come back to my original point. Space, old monopolies, completely, more or less destroyed. Democratization of space, ability to sort of get to your audience, all much smoother today, much easier. Now coming to the negatives. The negatives is that as Som was saying, dealing with technology, I'm now saying it, talking about this at the philosophical level, as Marshall McLuhan, I was quoting the media theorist. If you get a chance, please go to Google and Marshall McLuhan. If you punch, you'll get some of his videos, what he said in the early 70s. So he said that technology surrounds you and technology becomes this, it starts guiding you. Now there is a bit of a danger there because your original kind of faculty can get blunted, and you may start depending on social media tools too much, like ChatGPT, etc. So I'll just there's one little quote of his which I noted just to share with you of what Marshall McLuhan said. I've also used ChatGPT to find out his, you know. So he, so basically he argued that you, okay, I'll just paraphrase it. He argued that that when technology surrounds you and technology starts leading you by in some ways by the nose, then you start outsourcing. You start sort of, the word he used was amputating your own intellect. You amputate your own intellect and you start outsourcing stuff to to tools like ChatGPT, AI. There's a problem there. There's a problem there, and AI can get under your skin, and AI can. It's a struggle for humans to pit their own creativity against what AI does to you. That struggle is something I feel is a negative, and we need. I think we need new. I think academic disciplines to tell the younger people how to deal with that, how to not get completely overwhelmed by technology. I think we need a new kind of training for that. I personally feel, because this takes me back to what Gandhiji said in Hind Swaraj. Gandhiji was often accused of being anti-industry, anti-machine. So in Hind Swaraj, Gandhiji wrote, he said, how can I be anti-machine? Because the body itself is like a piece of machine. But I would not like that piece of machine, that machine which is the body, to overwhelm my own soul. So if somebody tries to suppress my soul, in order to liberate my soul, he said, I'll reject that body itself. So it is in that philosophical context that he said, I reject the machine, So because the body itself is a machine, so I would reject the body if it comes in the way of my soul, the freedom of my soul. So I think that quote of Gandhi is relevant, becomes more relevant in the context of what AI can potentially do to you. We have to preserve our souls. We can't let AI, completely kill our human creativity. It's something which is, I don't know whether how this has to be, this struggle has to be, led, or the struggle has to be, taken forward. But it's a struggle at the level of the individual. I think we maybe some sort of, as I said, some sort of training can be imparted, formal training at the level of schools, at the level of college, etc., to deal with this aspect of social media led by technology. Thank you.
Thanks, Venu, for I think providing us both sides of social media, and comparing it with legacy media, illustrating with a few examples from his own wire, and how the state can become a very powerful entity which can suppress our freedoms, to taking us to where we stand today on how technology is shaping the way social media to journalism will emerge, and leaving us with some good thoughts on what we really need to do as professional journalists to equip ourselves to do our job better. Very recently I do some mock interviews for UPSC candidates, and we found the result from Telangana and Andhra has not been very good. In the top 100 there are only 3-4 guys who came, and when we looked at the marks, the place where they are faltering he is in essay writing and English. It's very surprising. And the interview they got 200 plus. So what we found was in the curriculum to study from Andhra and Telangana, we do CBSE, we do STEM, that is engineering and medicine. Then we use ChatGPT, AI to learn all what we want in preparation. So when we found, we asked these guys to write 100 words, there were 10 mistakes. So they did not even score 50 to 55% in English. So similarly, when I extend this to journalism, today we find a lot of us, start using ChatGPT, AI and all that. And we end up, writing stories which, do not go through that rigor that we were earlier doing. So what this does is, you do the story very quickly. Today, in 1980s, to do one science story, it used to take me 1 day to 2 days. Today I am doing 5 stories. So that is the ease with which technology helps us to do all that. But then that same technology can remove me because my boss will think, "Arey, technology is likra." You ask a question that artificial intelligence is giving you the entire story. In fact, I got one story from my friend in US. He made a 1.5 minute program on a scientist by name T.S.R. Prasad Rao, who was director Indian Institute of Petroleum, on the technology he developed. His entire story in 1.5 minutes on AI. And I wrote 1,000 words in 10 days sitting on it. So he is produced and the story is viral now in the context. So the way in which we are going is both very exciting and at the same time very disturbing in the sense that so much of manipulation, fake and all that can happen. So we need to tread a path which is more informed. We are better equipped to handle it. So I open the forum to questions. So please raise your hand and ask whatever you want. Let us have a free session. Don't worry about what you ask. One of the best things in journalism is you can ask anything. And please ask and we'll try to answer. Yeah. Rajeshwari. Yeah.
So my name is Rajeshwari Kalyanam. So this question is for all the senior journalists, legacy journalists here. When we talk about social media being democratic, I think that's definitely a argument that we can start with perhaps, because with the media cells, the social media cells that political parties have, forget about political parties, even cinema, the brands, they are hiring social media agencies only to create trends about their brand. So if on Twitter suddenly you have an HPL trending, you have some random things trending. So the trend is not definitely what people are seeing or watching. The social media cells are dictating what people should watch. Then we follow the trend and we write the story, because we journalists have started following the social media. So it's like now who is driving whom? It's not the people. It's the brands. It's the people who have power, and these media cells are again operated by again the bigger corporates. So we talk about capitalism. I think this capitalism is right now there on social media, where bigger brands are. Today we have Google, which is kind of being, of course, it's being operated and controlled by the US, and Twitter is controlled by the US. So even the narrative will be controlled by the US in some time. So that's something I think we should talk about. Thank you. Question.
No,
the question is basically, can we still say it's democratic?
No, you're I have thought about what you just said. I've thought about this deeply, and the political economy of social media is very complex. Now, here is how complex it is. The big tech, so there is, you're right, big tech, there is huge concentration of power, between Mark Zuckerberg and the 3-4 Elon Musk and WhatsApp, YouTube, they have, they can, you're right, they can control the narrative and there is concentration of power there. This is a matter of worry. but why I say it is complex is, it is the same big tech is also giving people like Ravish and 100 other individuals the agency to get their message across, right? So and then there is a national media, which is the legacy groups, which we talked about, Indian Express and Times of India. So here is how I characterize these three categories. The big tech is like the global zamindar. It's like the 800-pound gorilla, who controls the larger space. I mean, if you regard the internet space as, say, real estate, he is the ultimate landlord. Then the national newspaper, they are like national zamindars, groups. But they are struggling because they are ceding all their revenues to the big tech, because 80% of advertising is now all shifted to the social media. That's why newspapers are now, the profitability over the last 10 years has plummeted by 90%. There is no newspaper which is standalone profitable today. And they are struggling. They have a struggle with the big tech, and then people like us, Wire, or the small fellows, Ravish, Dhruv Rathi and 100 others. There must be many in Andhra. I characterize them as tenancy farmers. There is a space. I mean, they are using that space, and they are, but they get 25% of revenues come from YouTube, and the big guy gives them small share, sharecroppers. We are like tenancy farmers, so we get whatever, but we don't face any curbs from the big tech. We do whatever we want to write. It's the national government which is trying to curb both us and the big tech. That's why Twitter is also in the court, in Karnataka High Court, against a lot of orders by the government, Modi government, to take down. If they are also in the court, we are also in the court. In that sense, we are allies. In that sense, yeah. And that's why I'm saying it's complex. So there is. We find that the legacy media, the big groups, they are the fastest to fold, kneel before the government. Before the Modi government says anything, they'll remove. They'll say Do you know Modi's cartoon has not been published in India? There is a history of every prime minister's cartoon. Exaggerated features appearing in the newspaper. It has stopped from Modi's time. Nobody, because this was told to me by a Times of India cartoonist, that no Modi cartoon is published. So we are publishing cartoons. Why? In the recent time, 2-3 of our cartoons have been taken down. They're animated cartoons, moving cartoons, right? So, and they take it down, we publish again. They take it down, we publish again. So that's the way our resistance is. So that's the point I'm making. So the political economy of the media, at the moment, tenancy farmers are benefiting from the big tech. Now, I don't think they're directly interfering with Indian politics. Their main motivation is commercial. You're right. In the larger perspective of capitalism and concentration, we have to be careful of them. At the moment, they are not hurting us. So that is the complexity of the issue.
Eight minutes. I'll just answer. This democratization. If you look at, earlier, mainline newspaper journalists were quite well known. They were driving the news. So Hindu Maharaj, G.K. Reddy, it's big news confirmed and all that. Today, masthead doesn't matter. You can be doing a good story which goes viral. My story can go viral. So all these big platforms are taking us throughout the world, where the what you write matters more than where you write sometimes. That's how all these YouTubers and all have become very popular. The second point is, during the 90s when I was in Delhi, I found that Mr. Arun Jaitley, I don't hesitate taking his name, he would plan stories in the evening. Okay, that was one agenda. Next day morning, after the social media became popular, now we are following social media, and then our agenda is set. So reporters, in a way, are being completely controlled. That's how I feel mainline media journalists have lost relevance. We are followers. We are no longer trendsetters. And finally, I'll read something I posted, which I think makes a lot of sense. Bernie Sanders recently put it on his handle. He says, Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, owns X. Larry Page and Sergey Brin, the second and third richest men, control YouTube. Jeff Bezos owns Twitch. Mark Zuckerberg owns Facebook and Instagram. And Larry Ellison will soon control TikTok. Now all of them sat right behind Donald Trump at his inauguration. All of them bankrolled him. All of them are getting richer by the day. So where do you hope, to be a very democratized system of, having news or leading news or agenda? So we are being driven by all this. But as Venu said, still, we have a larger platform to say what we want. Even these platforms help us in doing it.
Sorry. Just want to add to what he said. Today, how it has got democratized is Times of India, a leading paper, may be boasting about a readership of say 10 million. But today, you can produce one investigative story which goes to 20 million people, like Dhruv Rathi does, He does one program with facts, whatever is called analysis. And so that's that is not being prevented by the big tech. What you are talking about is a larger contradiction in a capitalist advance, technology-driven advance of capitalism. Those contradictions will play out in due time, and those struggles are separate struggles.
Before he asks a question, when Venu spoke about cartoons and about Modi's cartoons, it again reminds me of Nehru, who encouraged Shankar.
సార్ అమర్ సార్ నేను తెలుగులో ప్లీజ్ సార్ తెలుగు అమర్ సార్ సార్ ఇప్పుడు మీరు క్వశ్చన్ మీరు మీ 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 ఇంట్రడక్షన్ స్పీచ్లో మీరు ఏం చెప్పారంటే ఆ రోజుల్లో డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్ మీడియా ఉంది అంటే అప్పుడు కూడా అంటే అనుకుంటున్నా ఇండియా టైమ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా ఇండియన్స్ ఇవన్నీ కూడా పారిశ్రామికవేత్తలకు సంబంధించిన పత్రికలే. ఇప్పుడు అదానీ అంబానీ మీడియా ఒకటి మాఫియా తయారైంది. ఈ మాఫియాను కనుక మనం ప్రజల దృష్టికి తీసుకురావడం కానీ దాన్ని ప్రజల నుంచి దూరం చేయడానికి కానీ జర్నలిస్ట్ అంతా కలిసి ఉద్యమం చేసే అవకాశం ఉందా? చేస్తే సక్సెస్ అవుతారా?
Control.
Journalists can protest and
Come up with something alternative so that our voices are stronger.
Yeah, so that is the burden of some of the things that I said. The space, आप ठीक बोल रहे हो, अडानी अंबानी ने पूरा मीडिया स्पेस को कैप्चर किया है और वहां पे भी ये हो रहा है. जो लैरी एलिसन जो है, he already controls CBS. Now he's buying the Warner Group, which controls CNN. So he'll actually end up controlling CBS, CNN, TikTok, and he's a Trump man. And his wife gave $250 million for Trump's party, for election fund. Out of $1 billion that Trump collected from the big ticket funds, $250 million came from this Larry Ellison's wife, who's a committed Zionist. Israel में वहाँ पे Israel को भी businesses को भी fund करती है. So ये आप ठीक बोल रहे हैं, वहाँ पे भी हो रहा है, यहाँ पे भी. So that's why there is what Ravish coined the term Godi media for these people. Adani, Ambani, they're controlling the media, and they beyond a point they cannot criticize Modi. They can't even put out some straight news. उसको counter करने के लिए जो the social media is available as a distribution platform to people like us. We can write about them. We can expose we can, as they say, we can speak the truth and create our own community of aware, informed citizens, because that's what the media's basic job is, to inform citizens so that they vote accordingly in the end, to preserve democracy. In this context, I want to say one thing, something that Arun Shourie said, very interesting. Arun Shourie said that in the old days, legacy media days, Amar would remember, we used to say speaking truth to power. Arun Shourie said there is no need to speak truth to the power now, because the power knows what the truth is and they are manipulating us. So there is a need to speak truth to each other. So that's how you empower, create communities and empower each other. That nobody can stop. Modi cannot stop, Ambani cannot stop, Adani cannot stop, Larry Ellison cannot stop. The Americans can speak to each other, right? They are so connected now to each other. So that's one I think one media social media internet theorist, he said this about 10 years ago, that this is what social media does. It creates a platform for people to constantly talk to each other. So propaganda will come, but you can do counter propaganda, right? So there is a means to do that.
One.
My name is Majid sir. So, see, what is the remedy to regularize social media? Whether a registration, whether this registration could be possible to regulate social media?
So, I'll tell you the problem is, traditionally, media, Article 19 of the Constitution, right to freedom of speech, gave media a higher, standing in terms of the way the way jurisprudence has developed. Article 19 freedom of speech has a special place for media, because media traditionally is seen or was seen as a as a platform, as a platform of free expression, right? So now your question is, social media, as Som said, is unfiltered. So the government is now saying that, okay, traditional media can enjoy freedom of speech. This is what is happening in courts, by the way. But the other media, individuals who have started media, they can't be regarded as registered media companies. The registered media companies has certain, you have to there are certain categories, right? Your newspapers are registered with Registrar of Newspapers. TV companies, news TV channels are licensed. So and accordingly, the government treats them as regulated, but individuals, they say these people cannot be treated as media. Now there's a danger there, because Ravish, for instance, once told me, he's a regular journalist, but he can't be part of any media regulated media entity, right? So self-regulated. So traditionally media was in traditional jurisprudence, media, we always, even the government said that media is better self-regulated. Government should not regulate media. So we should not allow government to enter the space. But government is trying to enter the space in the name of regulating social media. That's why in recent last 1 year, lot of Twitter accounts, I have data, 2,000 Twitter accounts have been blocked. Many online news media accounts have been taken. 4PM, a UP based online media platform, very influential in UP, has been taken down a week ago. It was just blocked completely. He's gone to the court. Kapil Sibal is representing them in the court. They did that to Wire also once. When we did the story of Rafale during Operation Sindoor, one of the aircrafts that fell, was shot down was Rafale. They just blocked our whole entire website URL. So then we went to Ministry of Information Broadcasting. Said, what are you doing? I mean, why did you block the entire website? So they gave us a written reply saying that we didn't have the wherewithal to take down that story, so therefore we blocked the whole website. Imagine. So these are, as you asked, these are the ways in which government is trying to regulate online media and social media both. So because social media is online media's distribution channel. तो आप वहाँ बंद कर दो. अगर वायर की स्टोरी हमारे वेबसाइट में लिमिटेड लोग आते हैं, वायर का एक स्टोरी अगर यूट्यूब में या वीडियो यूट्यूब में या इंस्टाग्राम में फेसबुक में अगर उसको 3-4 मिलियन व्यूज है तो वो लोग वहाँ पे गवर्नमेंट विल सेंड अ नोटिस देयर सेइंग दैट इसको हटाओ. This is not, we don't like this. This is violative of public order, national security, blah blah blah. And this is happening a lot more in the last 1 year. So the question is, who will regularize? The moment you say government regularize, वो तो आपका गला पकड़ लेंगे, वो control में चले आएगा. You have to form your own association and create some self-regulation system. But for that, the government is all powerful. Government should agree to that. So we have an association, it's called DigiPub, Digital Publication Association. Now there is no mechanism yet of self-regulation. There is the social media platforms have their systems of self-regulation, in the sense like Twitter or they have certain keywords. अगर वो इस्तेमाल होता तो वो लोग उसको हटाते हैं. Words that can create problems, enmity between communities, or can create some some disturbance in social order, etc. They have their own system. Governments put pressure on them also to take down articles which go through their platform. तो अभी थोड़ा सा ये the space is a bit मेरे हिसाब से अभी थोड़ा डायनामिक है, थोड़ा chaotic भी है. इस पे रेगुलेशन के बाद एक साथ डिबेट चल रहा है. I don't know how this debate where this will end, but all governments are wanting to clamp down. So that's why I feel that one should not talk about government regulating. It's a dangerous path, So,
Veeray garu question adige mundu 1 minute. See, as he was saying about who will regulate and how will we regulate, I have a point. During the print media days, every newspaper has its own style sheet, its own policy, and there was an undeclared policy among all the newspapers. For example, we never used to report the names of persons, rape victims, photos or names, and also when communal clashes. Hyderabad was known for its communal clashes for a long time. Recent years, thanks, we are not facing any communal problem, but some 2-3 decades back, there was very frequent communal clashes in Hyderabad. So during that time, we never used to publish the names of the victims or the people who attacked the others. And we never used to name the communities in the newspaper. That way we had self-regulation in newspapers. Some such kind of regulation should also come into social media, but the problem is, in social media everybody tries to, क्या बोलते हैं, ज्ञान बांटने को try करते हैं. Everybody wants to throw their ज्ञान into the social media platforms. I'll ask Veeray Garu to ask the question.
Interconnected. The question is interconnected to the earlier questions. We are meeting here in the invitation of Media Education Foundation. Is there any proposal to guide the newcomers? Okay, whoever they are there to distribute the knowledge, they are there. We need not to worry much about them. Those who have come to this field for a purpose or for an idea, at least they are following certain standards. We should initiate, like in the DGPUB style, we should initiate a procedure and mechanism to establish a mechanism to harness kind of technical, providing a technical know-how to harness the social media for a positive impact, and also to give them a kind of orientation how to face the government onslaughts off and on that is coming up.
Good idea. In fact, your
So,
social media section should.
Yeah, this should be considered not only here, because social media landscape in US and Europe is completely different from India. We have so many languages and so many YouTube channels that even for some time that AI linked algorithm of YouTube even find it difficult to understand what is the Bihari or Bhojpuri is saying. So that dynamism is there. So why can't we think on those lines?
I think that's a very good suggestion. And also, I think all of us in this hall should be aware that when you talk about regulation, the government has already introduced through MEITY, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, certain rules. Yeah.
Yeah, that's stayed by the Bombay High Court in Madras.
So, under that, what they have said is all the social media platforms have to have a compliance officer. Now, Twitter, Facebook have a compliance officer, and if they violate, they can be pulled to court. The second thing the government did was they asked PIB to look at all the social media and media stories and then, restrict it, which I think luckily our professional bodies opposed and they went back on them. So government is already putting in regulation. So we need to fight that and ensure that, as he suggested, or Amar and all of us are saying, self-regulation, and I think all the universities, organizations should educate and create awareness on that, which is most important. And I think since we are running short of time, we'll take one or two questions before we have the vote of thanks.
Next question, anyone?
अब आप जो बोले, अब एक इंसिडेंट हुआ यूपी में रेवोल्यूशन बोलने के लिए, एक हेडमास्टर या प्रिंसिपल हाई स्कूल के अजीत अंजुम साहब जो कवर करे, कोई से मीडिया में नहीं आया. हेडमास्टर इज द मुस्लिम, अदर टीचर्स आर हिंदूज, स्टूडेंट्स 90% हिंदूज. तो वहाँ पे क्या हुआ, वहाँ की बीजेपी के लीडर वोटर लिस्ट में इन बोले सनेशन के मंडल के प्रेसिडेंट उनके ऊपर कांपेक्ट करके सस्पेंड कराए. लेकिन वहाँ की पब्लिक वहाँ की सोशल मीडिया में कवर करे, वो से पेपर में नहीं आया. वो इनकी पब्लिक पूरी रिवोल्यूशन लाके उनको फिर रीअपॉइंट करे वही स्कूल में. ये आना पब्लिक में बोलूँ मैं, कर सके तो जल्दी.
Yeah, I remember that अजीत अंजुम का जो आप बता रहे हो. हाँ, कानून ने किया था भाई. नहीं, मैं एक और so this is a case of the social media playing in a localized context, positive role. When mainstream guys have all abandoned, Jagran to front page will not even carry any news which is even 10-15% Modi negative. They don't carry it on front page. They have abandoned, which is the largest paper, 30-40 million readers. They have Dainik Bhaskar still does it. Then Dainik Bhaskar was raided by the income tax department, for covering कोविड में वो जो गंगा का सारा जो डेड बॉडीज का वो कवर किया और इतना अच्छा कवर किया कि न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स में छप गया था वो, राइट? न्यूयॉर्क टाइम्स used Dainik Bhaskar's photographs and all, and they also gave Dainik Bhaskar's editor a column in New York Times. After that, they were raided, income tax, multi-city raids on Dainik Bhaskar. So, I mean, this is how this government works. Also, what Som was saying, COVID के बीच में they introduced amendments to the IT Amendment Act, which was meant for social media platforms like Twitter and others. उसमें साथ में they included online news also. And this compliance officer that Som was saying, news platform को बोला कि आप एक compliance officer होगा, then you create a if somebody complains, a body of joint secretaries will decide whether it is proper or not. So everybody went to court. We went to court. The Chennai High Court, the legacy media which also have online, they also went to court, and the court stated that at the moment that part has not been implemented. But then this government doesn't listen to. They're just illegally taking down online stories which doesn't suit them. So that's what is happening here.
So finally, the time is over. A few seconds I want to make an observation with the permission of the President. We will finish it in 5 minutes. We have time for 5 minutes. See, as Ravish Kumar said, Ravish said, go the media. But my latest experience, I'll tell you. See, there was this Kagar operation going on. During that period, I worked with a newspaper. I work as an editor in a Telugu newspaper. And there are several Telugu and English newspapers here. When we were talking to our reporters in the districts, which are around this place, Karreguttalu, where this Kagar operation was going on, we were asking the reporters, why don't you go and report from there? See, day in and day out, Mr. Amit Shah is talking about wiping out Maoist movement by 31st of March. I don't know if this is influencing the people like journalists or what is happening, I don't know, but no reporter was prepared to go to those areas and report. There is a local YouTuber, I don't remember, if somebody remembers they can tell the name. He was reporting extensively about what is happening there. No mainstream media, so-called mainstream media reporter even tried to go there and report the incidents. So this is what I say, psychologically they are getting influenced by what is government tutoring. So thank you all for coming, and I request our Union President Mr. Virhat Ali to propose a vote of thanks, and I thank Venu and Som for spending time with us today.
Yeah, let's give a big clap to Venu.
ఇంతకుముందు పెద్దలు అమర్ గారు చెప్పినట్టుగా ఇండియన్ జర్నలిస్ట్ యూనియన్ జాతీయ మహాసభలు ఈ నెల 27 నుండి 29 వరకు విజయవాడలో జరుగుతున్నాయి. ఆ సందర్భంలో అన్ని రాష్ట్రాల్లో అక్కడక్కడ యూనియన్లు ఒక్కొక్క టాపిక్ మీద సదస్సులు నిర్వహిస్తుంటే ఇక్కడ తెలంగాణ స్టేట్ యూనియన్ ఆఫ్ వర్కింగ్ జర్నలిస్ట్ మీడియా ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఫౌండేషన్ ఇండియా సంయుక్త ఆధ్వర్యంలో మేము ఇవాళ వేణు గారిని ఇక్కడికి ఆహ్వానించి ఈ టాపిక్ మీద స్పెషల్గా ఇవాళ బర్నింగ్ టాపిక్ మన సొసైటీ మొత్తంలో సోషల్ మీడియాకి సంబంధించింది దాని మీద ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని నిర్వహించడం, మా ఆహ్వానాన్ని మన్నించి ఇవాళ వారి విలువైన సమయాన్ని మాకు ఇచ్చినటువంటి ఎంకే వేణు గారికి మేము తెలంగాణ స్టేట్ యూనియన్ ఆఫ్ వర్కింగ్ జర్నలిస్ట్ అలాగే మెఫీ తరఫున ప్రత్యేకంగా ధన్యవాదాలు తెలుపుకుంటున్నాం సార్. అట్లాగే ఈ కార్యక్రమానికి అధ్యక్షత వహించినటువంటి సీనియర్ పాత్రికేయులు సోమశేఖర్ గారికి, కవరేజ్కు వచ్చినటువంటి సహచర ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ అండ్ ప్రింట్ మీడియా జర్నలిస్ట్ మిత్రులకి, నా సహచరులందరికీ కృతజ్ఞతలు తెలుపుకుంటూ ఈ సదస్సును ఇంతటితో ముగిస్తున్నాం. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
వన్ సెకండ్ సార్, మేము ఇక్కడ సోషల్ మీడియా జర్నలిస్టులు ఉన్నాము, మీరు ప్రింట్ అండ్ ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ మీడియా అనే చెప్పారు. కానీ మేము సోషల్ మీడియా జర్నలిస్ట్.
సోషల్ మీడియా అన్నట్టే ప్రింట్ అండ్ ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ మీడియా అంటే అది అందులో సోషల్ మీడియా కూడా వస్తుంది. సోషల్ మీడియా ప్రింట్ వస్తుంది, ఎలక్ట్రానిక్. ఇవాళ మంచి లైవ్ మాకు ప్రత్యేకంగా ఇవాళ శాటిలైట్ పెద్ద ఛానళ్ళ కన్నా ఎక్కువ ప్రాధాన్యతలు ఇచ్చిన సోషల్ మీడియాకి, డిజిటల్ మీడియాకి మాకు ప్రత్యేక లైవ్ని ఇచ్చారు. వారికి మనస్ఫూర్తిగా ప్రత్యేక ధన్యవాదాలు తెలుపుకుంటున్నాం.
ఒకటే అన్న